Fight Plus is the ultimate digital platform for live sports and entertainment, and they're now offering a free 7-day trial at tryfight.com. Fight Plus is packed with a premium live event schedule, over 1,000 hours of live action every year, and a library of more than 4,000 hours on demand, plus exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Fight is a great partner of ours. They support us, so let's support them. Give that free 7-day trial a shot, and you'll be a member for life. That's tryfight.com. tryfite.com.
As cold as a razor blade, as tight as a tourniquet, like the skin on a dying man. I don't want a piece of the world. I want the whole world. I make my own rules because it's much easier that way. Trust me.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back in the Snake Pit. And of course, I am joined by the pop culture icon, the Hall of Famer, master of the DDT. It's Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fabulous, man.
Man, I'm glad to hear it. As this episode is dropping, you've already completed one leg of the Last Call tour. You came to Pittsburgh here, my hometown.
And I know, fabulous, man. People were rocking.
Dude, you cannot beat Pittsburgh crowds. They love wrestling. But Jake, I have to imagine our listeners are going to be wondering where you're going to be next. What's next on the Last Call tour?
Well, May 5th, we're going to be in Saugus, Mass. At Kowloon. On the 6th, it's not a comedy show, but I'm doing a signing at the Zombie Hideout. So that's in Springfield, Massachusetts. So drop on by anyway, sign autographs, do some elbow rubbing, some hugging, take some photos, and have a good time. The 7th, I'm at the Funny Bone in Hartford, Connecticut. And then on May 13th in Orlando, I'm really looking forward to this, in Bonkers. It's going to be a kill-out show, man.
Dude, that's fantastic. And again, guys, I've said it here before. I will say it again. If you have not seen Jake live, you've got to go. You've got to try it. It's unlike any other experience you're going to have at a live comedy event or wrestling event or anything like that. Jake is a unique cat, got unique stories, and you guys are going to have a blast. So go out of your way to check out the Last Call tour. You'll get all the information, all the ticket links, everything on Jake's social media. So follow him there at Jake Snake DDT on Twitter. All right, so that's going to do it for that. However, Jake, we are jumping into a really fun topic today. It's a short-lived rivalry, but it's something that gets brought up a lot whenever your name gets mentioned. We're talking about your feud with the legendary Ricky Steamboat in the WWF. It happened 37 years ago around the time that this episode drops. And, dude, I can't wait to get into it.
Wow, that's crazy. It's been 37 years, you know. Oh, my God. You know, I met Steamboat in Mid-Atlantic, and in fact, we were tag team partners quite a bit there. So for this thing to happen to the WWE, man, I can't imagine me having the success I did without it.
Yeah, I mean, you and Steamboat, you were running these parallel courses in your careers. You know, you guys started around the same time in the late 70s, and then all of a sudden you guys intersected in the fall of 81. You were both, as you said, in Mid-Atlantic, and that was the first time you had ever been around him, you said.
Oh, yeah.
Had you seen or heard about any of his work prior?
I'd heard, but I'd not seen it, you know, and to see Ricky Steamboat in those days, the way he could move, man, it was just unbelievable. It was like he's on glass, skating on glass. He was so fucking smooth, man. And whenever he fired up, I mean, that's the mark of a great baby face. Number one, knowing how to sell, which nobody sells better than Ricky Steamboat to this day. Mm-hmm. Nobody's matched his mark on the art of selling. 2, how much fire do they have when it's time for that comeback? My God, he'd blow the top off of a building whenever he started that comeback.
Man, it's such a generational, once in a lifetime performer, a guy that you don't get to see often. And honestly, I'm trying to think of a close comparison nowadays. I can't really come up with anybody.
Not anybody that had it all.
No, and he did. The body, handsome guy, great
Yeah,
movement. God almighty, the guy had everything. And to your point, he could sell. Like, he's like Ricky Morton. He could sell,
yeah.
get sympathy. Just an unbelievable performer. Now, were you programmed as a tag team partner with him right away in Mid Atlantic?
No, no, it was one-offs here and there whenever they needed it.
Now, this was the first time that you're seeing him wrestle live and in person. I mean, like right away you're like, holy shit, I got to work with this guy?
Oh yeah, and I was like, "Holy fuck! Thanks for nothing, guys. You got me in here with somebody's going to overshadow the shit out of me."
Now, we hear all the time what a great human being he was. That Ricky Steamboat's just such a great guy. What were your impressions of him as a person?
Absolutely the same, a gentleman to the nth power, man. Just a classy act.
Now, when you guys did start teaming up together, how were the matches structured? Are you starting the match out? Is he?
It didn't matter. We flip flopped. We just went out there and had fun, man.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, we weren't designated to be on the big list. We were designated to be on the second show, the second best show of the day in Mid Atlantic. So they didn't spend a lot of time setting things up or getting us tag team opponents that really matched what we could do. They just threw us in there with anybody and everybody.
Now, I can't remember if you told me this or if I heard it from Ricky or somebody told me that he used to kind of mess with you a little bit when you guys were teaming
Oh
up.
yeah. He messed with me a little bit.
What kind of shit was he doing?
Oh, just fucking with me on the tags and stuff. I'd sucker. I'd come into the ring trying to stop them from double teaming him, and by the time I got out of the ring, he was over my corner trying to tag me, and then I wouldn't know where to be found. Stuff like that. Then as I hop back up on the corner, they drag him away, and I'm like, oh fuck. People like, Jake, you dumbass. Fucker.
Just amazing. And speaking of amazing, Jake, it's you guys weren't. I mean, you were the snake at this point. He was not yet the dragon, and everybody's still kind of trying to find their way in 1981. And our first clip of the week is a really short but fun promo
Oh
with
my
you and
God.
Steamboat as tag partners in Mid Atlantic.
Right now, Jake the Snake Roberts, and of course Rick Steamboat. Rick, by the way, first of all, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's a pleasure always to come back to this area and wrestle. This has sort of been like a home away from home for myself. I know the fans have been wondering what I've been doing. For the past 8 months, I've been making tours over to Japan. I've had 3 now. Ladies and gentlemen, all it is for myself is a learning experience.
Very successful, by the way. Let me add that for you. You're going to be modest.
Thanks, Bob. But for me, it's like a learning experience because, as everybody knows, a lot of the martial arts started in the Orient over there, and you got some of the best people over there to train and work out with, and that's one of my main goals. I know in the past year or so I've been slipping just a little bit, so to pick up on some of that slack because the competition's been getting so tough, I've been working out over there and training and had some pretty good tours.
I tell you one thing, and I speak for all of the fans, and I know they're delighted to have you back, and so are we.
Thanks.
And right here, Jake Roberts. Jake, it was a pleasure. I've already told him, but I just want the fans, but it was a real pleasure to tag up with a gentleman like him, and I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to doing it again. But I'd just like to take this opportunity to tell everybody right now, there's a lot of things happening around here I don't really understand why they're being let go on. But all I can say, if the opportunity knocks, somebody's going to hit the dirt. All right, Jake. Good luck to you. And
Jake, the cowboy gimmick.
Yeah, buddy. That
Now-
was a brief thing.
Yeah, how did that whole thing come about?
I don't know. Jesus Christ. I was trying to find myself, man. I didn't know what I was yet. Still trying to find myself. And yeah, that was fun to look at, man. Thanks a lot, asshole.
42 years ago that interview
Fuck.
took place, and man, it was cool. I mean, you had the voice down, the Sam Elliott voice, but you captured the look back then too.
Yeah.
You mentioned our most recent Ask Jake Anything that you travel with Steamboat a lot during this time. Jake,
Yeah.
I have to imagine you got some road stories with the guy.
Oh, we had a little fun here and there, I don't want to go into any of that. It's not really this isn't the right spot for it.
Well, one that I had heard you talk about before had something to do with Sweet and Low. Is that
Yeah,
is that one that
yeah.
you want to recount here?
Well, that's what I didn't want to tell, but I guess now that you brought it out,
Sorry.
we had went by and picked up a guy named Ron Ritchie, and Ron was a young kid, and he was partying hard, man, in those days. And we picked him up, and boy, he looked like hell. And evidently, he had been up drinking all night and partying, and we're headed to Greenville, South Carolina. So he's laying in the back seat, moaning and groaning. So we grabbed this bag of Sweet and Low and we put it on a piece of cardboard and lined it up like it was cocaine. Said, "All right, time for you to wake up. Come here." And we handed it back there real quick. "Oh, guys, thanks so much, man. Oh, this is great. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jake." And I said, "Go ahead, bro. Hit it all." So he did it. And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I needed. Oh, yeah." Ah. And he sits up and he's ready to go now. He's like, "Man, that stuff's got a kick to it. Yeah. You don't have any more, do you?" "No, but we can get some." So, "Ricky, pull over here." So Ricky pulls into a McDonald's and we ask him for 2 bags of Sweet and Low. And Ron Ritchie said, "I knew there was something wrong with that shit. No, I got boogers in my nose, man. I got big boogers in my nose." So he picked his nose the rest of the way to town.
Oh, dude, just amazing. What a great rib. Harmless, mostly harmless. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's neurotoxins in Sweet and Low, so who knows?
probably is. We didn't hurt Ron Ritchie, I'll tell you that.
Whatever became of Ron Ritchie? I've never really heard the name.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't exactly bound for the Hall of Fame.
No, he wasn't, man. It's funny. I met him. I met him years before that, and he was a party animal. That's what he was in the business for, was to party. And he sure didn't take he didn't miss any. And whenever I came to Mid Atlantic and he was there, I'm like, wow. And I said, "Thank you, Ron." He said, "What's that?" And I said, For solidifying my thoughts." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I met you a few years ago, and sometimes when you meet somebody, you think, that guy's going to make it big. And here you are again." He's like, "Well, thanks, man." I said, "Yeah, man, because I knew that you'd never fucking make it. And no shit, here you are."
just amazing. My God.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's wrestling though.
Yeah.
By the way, on social media recently, you posted a photo. Looked like you guys were in Japan because you were wearing Tokyo shirts. It was yourself and RT Tyler.
Yeah, Randy Tyler, man.
Yeah. Around 1979, 80, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that picture and I was like, God Almighty, that is a deep cut. I don't know that a lot of people have seen that.
Yeah, man. He's a hell of a guy, man, and a great friend. He helped me through my toughest time in my life at that point. And we went to Japan, and shortly after getting there, I get an emergency phone call from the States telling me that my wife had my twins 2 months premature.
Oh my God.
And immediately we started trying to get flights back. But I couldn't get a flight back because an emperor of Japan had died shortly before this, and everybody was coming back and forth to pay their respects. So I couldn't even get a flight.
Oh, man.
And I went so far as going to the embassy to try to get a flight home, and they told me that they'd get me a flight home after one died.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, fuck you, man.
Awful, man.
Yeah. After one dies, we'll get you a flight.
But Randy was there to help you through all that.
He was there to keep me from going crazy and keep me from drinking myself to death prematurely. Because boy, I was in a real rough time, and this was before cell phones and shit, man. So it wasn't like I could just pick up a phone and call home. It wasn't easy to get hold of home, especially some of the places we were performing at. But Yeah, he spent a lot of nights, man, letting me cry on his shoulder. No shit.
Man, that's awesome. And yeah, it's, a long distance phone call from Japan to the United States back then, probably a small fortune.
Oh, it
And
was a
just,
couple $100.
oh, good Lord. It's so, a cool guy. And it's cool to thank you for sharing that. It's cool to get the story behind that photo now too.
Yeah.
We'll share it here on the show. All right, guys, summer's coming. Are you ready to show the world your beach bod? If you're not there yet, don't worry, because Manscaped will get you ready in a hurry with their full body grooming and hygiene products. We all know that fat looks better tan, but don't go out there fat and covered in hair. It's time to get ready for a hot guy summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT. In all seriousness, guys, nothing improves your confidence like feeling like you look your best. And Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 has got you covered from head to toe. The kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. Whether it's your chest hair or you're trying to shape up that pubic topiary, it's the best trimmer on the market. Their trimmer features a ceramic blade designed to cut hair on loose skin and to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology. You definitely do not want any nicks or snags down there. Am I right, guys? Also in the performance package, you'll find the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer, because we know how painful chafing can be when you're wearing your bathing suit all day. Look, guys, I am a swarthy Italian dude, and let me tell you, Manscaped has changed the game. My bathroom floor, it looks like two Wookiees got into a brawl in there, but by the time it's all said and done, I look and feel like $1,000,000, and my wife isn't complaining either. We're not done yet. If you've got tufts of hair growing out of your ears and nose, Manscaped can also help you with their Weed Whacker 2.0. It's quick, it's efficient, and most importantly, it gets you looking clean and fresh. You also get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, $39 value, and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped boxers. And also, guys, we all go to the beach wearing sandals, so you need to check out Manscaped's Shears 2.0 Nail Kit. They've literally thought of everything, and all of their equipment is top of the line. I cannot recommend this stuff enough. Having the right tools for grooming is essential, so do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Don't wait until a day or two before you're headed to the beach, guys. Act now. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT, SNAKEPIT, at manscaped.com, and greet summer looking your very best with some help from Manscaped. All right, back to Ricky Steamboat. Your tag team run with him doesn't last all that long. The last time that you were a tag team is November 29th, and it's in a losing effort to Ole Anderson and Roddy Piper in Charlotte, North Carolina. A bunch of guys that would be going on to have incredible success, become Hall of Famers and whatnot. Any recollection of working with Piper and Ole?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Why is that?
Well, because Roddy wanted to work and Ole wanted to make you miserable. So they did both. They worked and they made us miserable.
I just discovered Ole about 2 years ago. I'm a wrestling fan, but it's my era was the 90s, and working on Arn Anderson's podcast, I became familiar with Ole. And I'm like, man, this guy's a hell of a promo. But then you start to hear all the things behind the scenes about him.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, maybe he wasn't that easy to get along with all the time.
It was real hard to get along with, brother.
So, man, awesome worker and a hell of a promo. Just, man, some of the horror stories you hear, my goodness.
Yeah, he was just like his promos.
So that was a shoot.
Yeah.
Really
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
So, well, later in 1983, you and Ricky are on opposing sides when he and Jay Youngblood were in Mid-Atlantic, or rather the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions. In one instance, you and Dory Funk Jr. lose the championships on March 28th, 1983 in Greenville, South Carolina. So, Jake, at this point, you'd partnered with Ricky. I know you also partnered with Youngblood. Now, Dory, I think you partnered with Barry Windham. I mean, a lot of people over the years. Who would you say is your greatest tag team partner?
Oh, my gosh. It would have to be Ricky, although Wyndham's a close second.
You guys were just 2 peas in a pod. Like, it just worked seeing you two together.
Yeah, we were physically matched up pretty close.
It's, looking at you and Ricky in that promo too, it's like you guys kind of look like this odd couple. You got this cowboy and like this dude with kind of like a Polynesian type thing going on.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah, it did, man. It was fun.
Sometimes the weird pairings work out the best.
Mm.
Were you close with Steamboat outside of the ring? I know that he's kind of like the straight and narrow type, and I know that you were
Mm.
more of like the hang out, go party guy.
Well, he was a family man, so he was at home every night, man. So, after the road, he didn't go out or anything. He went home to his wife, as he should, you know.
I mean, good for him, dude. It takes a lot of self restraint,
Oh, yeah, it does. It does,
especially
man.
especially being a handsome dude in great shape, and he's got money
Yeah,
and fame, and man,
yeah.
it's good on him. Well, Jake, next you're off to Georgia, world class, mid South. As you're kind of moving around territory to territory, are
Mm.
you ever lobbying to bring Steamboat in after having had the opportunity to work with him?
Well, I was getting ready to lobby for him in Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to bring you in there when I was the booker,
Now, like to work with him, or just have him in there as like a top baby face?
the top baby face.
I've heard a lot of people say over the years that Ricky Steamboat expressed a desire to be a heel to them, told them like he really wanted to try it, really wanted to do it.
Mm.
Do you think that Ricky could have pulled it off?
Yeah, yeah,
Really? That not
yeah.
a lot of people share that sentiment. What makes you think that he could have been good at it?
Because he's such a student of the game.
Mm.
Ricky put his mind to something. He's going to get it done, man. I think he'd have been a phenomenal heel.
Now, are you staying in contact with him a lot? Is he's on to
No,
JCP and then WWF?
no, no, sure, no, not at all.
Well, I mean, it's as we discussed earlier, no cell phones. It's kind of hard to stay in, even if you are tight with a guy, it's hard to stay in touch with
Right,
him. So,
right.
but I'm sure you've seen what he's doing on TV and whatnot with the
Mhm.
WWF, and it's like, man, it's this guy. You knew he had it, and now here he is
Yeah.
on the biggest stage. And speaking of the biggest stage, Jake, you arrive in the WWF 1986, and at first they just have you kind of delivering some general heel type promos. Then you defeated George Wells at WrestleMania 2, as we recently discussed, and now you're on to your first big program in the company. I have to imagine that you're just over the moon when you find out you're working with Ricky, right?
Oh my God, I couldn't believe I was going to get Ricky. Are you kidding? It's like, wishing that you get a new car, and then when you get it, it's a fucking Mercedes or a Lamborghini or something. And you were hoping for a Yugo. Well,
Man,
wait
I
a
mean,
minute. Nobody'd hope for a Yugo.
so
Never
I
mind.
was gonna say Yugo, or like what was that other one? Like a Gremlin? Those cars that
Yeah,
people never
Gremlins,
wanted.
yeah. Or a Pinto.
Oh, a Pinto. Those would like blow up if you ran into it the wrong
Yeah,
way.
right, right,
God almighty.
right.
So, well, awesome. Here you guys are. You used to be tag team partners. You love and respect his work, and then bam,
Mhm,
right, your first big rivalry, Ricky Steamboat. Now, when they come to you with something like this,
mhm.
you're new to the territory, and traditionally, at least from what I've seen, when they bring somebody into the territory, they get into their first program and they go over, they win, beat the
Yeah.
guy, in order to kind of establish themselves in this new territory.
Mhm.
Do you recall if that was sort of like the plan that was laid out to you?
No, I was never brought with a plan. The first thing I heard about it was when we went to Saturday Night Main Event.
Oh, okay. So, like, you show up at TV that day, and they're like, "You're working with Steamboat."
Yeah, you guys are going to do something tonight. And then they laid it out to us. And I said, well, wait. I can't DDT him on the floor. I said, it'll fucking kill him. And they're like, well, that's what we really want. And so they left us for me and Steamboat to talk. And I just kept telling Ricky, it can't be done. I'm telling you, it cannot be done. If I do that to you, it's going to fuck you up really bad. He's like, no. I'll get my hands down in time. I'll block it. No, Ricky, you won't. You just don't have time to do it. And he was real adamant, man, about wanting to do it. He owed a favor to George Scott,
Mm,
the booker at the time, under Vince. And Ricky had gotten his first big break in professional wrestling in Charlotte from George Scott. George
okay.
Scott's the one that took the chance and gave him an opportunity to become a star. Which in Charlotte, if you're lucky, you have to be extremely lucky to get a break in Charlotte. Believe me, I know. I wrestled there for years and never got a break.
Mm.
They just didn't do it. Didn't never pull the trigger. Just left me in bedlam right there in the middle of the car doing nothing. And it's very hard to impress people when you're not out there with people that you can impress with. But here I've got Steamboat. I've got Steamboat and an opportunity to blow me to the top of the pile real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do it with one move, and that one move's a DDT. But they want to do it on the concrete floor. There were no pads down anywhere. They want to do it on the concrete floor. And it's just impossible to do on the concrete floor. I know I had tried things before, like DDT and somebody on a chair.
Right.
That doesn't work either. but by the way, ask Terry Taylor. He got cut open pretty bad.
So you're saying like an open, like folding chair, and you
Right,
DDT him like on the seat?
Yeah, on the ring, in the ring. Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Wow.
Does not work. It splits her skull.
What is the method like to protect yourself even in the ring, because we hear that the rings in the WWF back in the day were like rock hard.
Well, they're rock hard, but they give a little bit.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing. It's got to give a little bit. Concrete does not give any.
Right.
It does not move. It is a very hard surface. And they just kept saying, that's what we want. We need to get that done. You guys work it out. That's what we've got. So it wound up Ricky telling me, just do it. I've got it. Don't worry about it. And man, I did not want to do it. I really, really didn't. And we argued up till match time. And finally, after we're going to do it, we went out and we did it. And when I tried to get Ricky up, I realized that he was completely out.
Oh,
because he was like dead weight. And I needed to get him back in the ring. I cannot tell you, I nearly herniated myself trying to get him up.
mm-hmm.
He's the heaviest 220, 210 pounds that I've ever picked up. But I was able to finally get him in the ring, and I rolled him in the ring, and he's just lifeless. I wasn't sure if he was dead, if he was just out, what. And
terrifying.
Yeah, and there's so much going on at that moment. I don't have time to go over and check his pulse, or it's kind of out of character to go over and check the guy's pulse, or what am I going to do? Start trying to resuscitate him now?
Right.
I would, but I don't know how. But I'd sure as hell try. I'd give it everything I had. But at that time, they started sending agents into the ring, and to get me off of him. And one of those agents happened to be George Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch that film, you'll see me point at Steamboat. Then I pointed him and saying, "This is on you. This is your fault. Look at him. I think he's dead."
Oh, man. I mean, your heart's got to just be pounding out of your
Oh,
chest.
my God, man.
Manslaughter charge.
I wanted to cry. I was just so upset, man.
I mean, between
I'm upset right now.
right. Just thinking about it, like between your buddy being hurt and like the potential, like I could do jail time if he dies. Right now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't give a shit about the jail time. I just wanted him to be all right.
Dude, terrifying. I've got the clip now. I know that. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I'm going to see it.
All right, we'll play it.
The Dragon Steamboat, one of the most popular athletes in the World Wrestling Federation today, saying hello. Wait, off the rope now. Ooh, what a clothesline. He didn't even let him in the ring.
He was too interested in waving to the little girls in the crowd to pay attention to business. It's his own fault.
Oh, another clothesline down to the concrete. The match has not even started yet. Out underneath the bottom rope, Jake Roberts.
He's signaling for that DDT.
He's not. Oh, no.
Hey, Steamboat, that's using your head.
Oh, my goodness.
I like it.
Jake, you just, I'm pausing it here for a sec. You just said something to somebody in the crowd. Are you just like jawing or was?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was some like, producer or somebody there.
No,
that you were
no.
Like, this is your fucking fault or whatever.
No.
Okay, we'll continue.
Steamboat, unconscious. He has to be totally out of it.
I smell something. Is that pineapple
that
juice?
dead weight.
What is that you smell?
Roberts, shoving, Ricky Steamboat back into the ring. Steamboat totally out of it, unconscious after striking his head. Oh, he's not going to go into the...
Oh, yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, I think Damien's coming out for some air.
No. Oh, he's not going to...
Look at that snake. Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it.
Oh, God, I can't believe it. Slithering all over Ricky's snake. Look at the head on that snake.
That snake's got to be 175 pounds.
Oh, he's jamming his mouth. I can't believe that. I can't believe it.
I think the dragon is out.
Yeah.
He is out.
Oh, he's tightening. He's going to choke him. He's going to choke the breath right out of him.
I think the word you're searching for is juices.
Look at that. Jake Snake with that python all over Ricky Steamboat, who's totally unconscious. Look at that snake slithering in the mat. Oh, yeah.
It's squeezing. These are the World Wrestling Federation officials. Now, what are they saying?
Oh, yeah, look. Roberts now using the snake, hoping the snake is going to bite one of these officials.
I hope it does, too. Who's that guy sticking his nose in?
That was it. Man, which one of those guys was George Scott?
Gray suit,
Gray
glasses.
Suit. Okay.
Next to Blackjack.
That video is readily available online, guys. So if you've never seen it for whatever reason, you can go ahead and find it. But let me say, over the course of my life, I've probably seen it, I don't know, 15 or 20 times maybe. And I still get chills every time you drop him.
Yeah.
Because, man, just imagining that impact, it's like he is out. And I saw at one point as you were putting the snake on him, I saw you kind of lean in and you probably check on him.
Trying to talk to him, man.
And he's just out cold. You've got to be petrified.
I was, man. Scared to death and trying to finish what I was supposed to do and pretty amped up from the moment. But it was definitely a moment with high mixed feelings going both ways.
Hey guys, Eric Bischoff here, and just want to call a quick timeout. I want to tell your listeners about what I've been telling everybody at over at 83 Weeks, quite a while now, about all the cool things that are happening over at adfreeshows.com.
An all-new edition of The Insiders is here, as Conrad welcomes David Zadi, the man behind so many iconic video packages WWF fans grew up on, including one that left Vince in tears.
You got him. And Conrad, I swear, I walked outside the studio, and Vince was sitting down on the concrete floor, crying hysterically, just saying thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I went up to the control cabinet. He says, good job. Can't wait to see it. 15 minutes later in the stairwell, Vince is still sitting down in a different spot now, crying, saying thank you. Thank you.
Jim Johnston created the soundtrack for generations of WWE fans, with some of the most iconic themes in history. Jim sits down with Conrad to take us behind some of those classic themes, including The Ultimate Warrior.
And then I recorded that. And then just over that, you're just doing... it's so simple, but that's what felt like him.
That's just a small taste of what we've got waiting for you with 4 levels to choose from. See for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.
Good on you for kind of staying in the pocket, staying in character. I mean, you still got the snake on him and did all that stuff. I know that a lot of that is also stalling for time and, trying to get people out there. He goes to the hospital that night.
Yes, he did.
I would have to assume so. Do you go and visit him, or is it like you just have to be on to the next town?
No, I was on to the next town, man. And there was a lot of swelling, concussed, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But his eyes turned black after a few days, I believe. And it was just pretty bad, man.
So like you're off to the next town and you're like, I have no idea how he is. Like he's might be okay. Might never be the same again.
I tried to find out, from different people, and they said he's going to be all right. Holy shit. I don't know how.
God, sigh of relief. Well, you're still doing it to the company at this point. Are you like backstage afterwards? Like, are you in Vince's face, George's face? Like, what the? Like,
I went to George. I went to George and said something, but I probably came pretty close to losing my job that night from some of the things I was saying. You know, they probably understood in the heat of the moment. I just said some things, and you know, unless they just like being called a dirty cocksucker, you know. And if they did, then I made them happy as shit.
I mean, they would have to understand it following that. Like I mean, I can see the terror on your face as you're out there. So I mean, they have to have known, like, man, this guy is afraid he killed his friend.
Yeah, I thought it fucked him up really bad, man. And that's the last thing I'd ever want to do, especially to somebody, well, to anybody. You know, I can't think of one person that I would intentionally do that move to on concrete out of anger. I can't think of anybody. And I've had some people that really screwed me over pretty good, but I still don't have that towards them. I just can't.
No. I mean, look, it's you could legitimately kill somebody doing what.
Yeah, absolutely. It would kill. You could kill. I mean, I didn't cinch up on it or anything. I was holding it as loosely as I could. You know, so whenever I've got it held loosely in here, there's room for the head to move. It's not like I'm holding on to his head and driving it through the concrete.
Right.
I had loosened up the arm so it could move freely in there. So even doing it that way, it still fucked him up. So I can imagine how much damage it would do if you actually cinched up tight and then dropped somebody on it. It would kill him, no doubt.
And I mean, logically, you've got to have a little bit of snugness, because when you're falling back, he's got to come with you, right? And the timing's got to be right. Yeah. So man, he sure as hell did. When you talk to Ricky for the first time following this incident, is it more of like hey man, I told you we shouldn't have done it, or are you just apologizing?
Well, I was apologizing too, but I mean, I told you we couldn't do it. I fucking told you, and he agreed.
I would think you would have to after that. My God. Well, a lot of people point to this moment, Jake, as a huge turning point, though. If we can take any positive out of this, a lot of people say that this was the moment that all of a sudden it's like, okay, Jake is cold-blooded.
Jake's a killer. That's what they thought. You know, Jake's a killer, and he catapulted me from, you know, being on the first couple of matches to the main event overnight. And, you know, I can never thank Ricky enough, because basically he helped me build my house.
That's really it too. I mean, like you said, overnight you're established as this really nasty, vicious, ruthless heel. Do you think that you would have still gotten there regardless of if
eventually, but there was nobody I could do that to that would get the same reactions. You know, maybe if I did it to Hogan, I'd get a reaction, but it wouldn't be the same as doing it to Ricky, because Ricky was that handsome boy that everybody wanted to be around, and every father wanted him to be the son, you know, with his daughter, and they were all about it. You know, they were just 100% behind Ricky, because he was such a gentleman and such a good-looking guy, in great shape and great work ethic. He had nothing negative about him.
He was the perfect guy at the perfect moment, and so are you, because they really leaned into this thing, you know, despite, you know, it's scary circumstances, but once everybody kind of figures out everybody's fine, the WWF starts leaning into this thing, and so do you, and we've got a great promo that not only shows kind of really cool, vicious side of you, but it also shows the swelling on Ricky Steamboat's head. Let's have a look.
Jake the Snake Roberts not even allowing the match to get underway, number one. As you know, no man has ever gotten up from your DDT and then to administer it to the dragon on the concrete floor, about as I think low as you have ever stood.
You know, I've watched that about 40 times, and every time I see his head go, bang, that concrete, I get a rush. How close were you when it happened?
I was right at ringside.
Did you hear it?
I heard it. I'd say despicable from my standpoint.
Awesome. You were impressed, weren't you? Were you impressed when they brought that stretcher out and carted him off?
No,
I was. You know why? Because ever since I came into the WWF, they've given me strictly open hand material type talent. Now, the first time I have a great piece of talent in the ring, it's Ricky Steamboat. Well, Steamboat, you made a big mistake, my man. You turned your back. You never turn your back on a snake, because if you keep playing around with snakes, sooner or later you're going to get bit. So I'm telling you this, Steamboat, you're about to make your second mistake in 18. If I was you, I wouldn't even show up. You haven't got it. Oh, he just doesn't get enough.
You know what the Dragon is made out of, the rematch. Sunday night, May, a big one after what took place Saturday night's main event. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I can imagine how very badly you want one Jake the Snake Roberts.
You know something? I've been suffering now for the last 2 weeks. The swelling on my head is still there as I want everybody to take a look. And Mr. Roberts, you've gone up here and you've told everybody that I've made one mistake, and that's stepping into the ring with you on Saturday night's main event. And I will stand before you and say, yes, I may have made that one mistake. And that one mistake was to turn my back on you. That old saying, never turn your back on a snake, lies true. But let me tell you something. You get up here and you tell everybody right here and now that I'm making my second mistake. I'm not making my second mistake stepping in the ring with you. Let me tell you, Mr. Roberts, that you are making your first mistake because I want revenge. I want a piece of you. You try to put me away. You try to put me out. Every single man that you've wrestled in the past has been in the ring, the DDT. No! On the floor with me. It's a mess. The shoe fits where?
I don't know about the music at the end, but holy shit.
I was thinking, give me one of those umbrella hats and my drink, there for a minute.
And the music they had for years, it was like, I want to know if he really loves me, like by Paul Abdul or something. It's just, what the fuck?
Oh, God.
But I'll tell you what, even beyond that, and even beyond Ricky Steamboat's head swelling, which is, you guys have got to see this promo. It's quite a visual. We'll share it on social media. But really what stood out for me, Jake, was like you started out that promo and you were like kind of goofy, silly about the whole thing. And then it was just all of a sudden you turned and you get this ice cold look in your eyes. And it's like, dude, I have to believe that these are kind of linchpin moments in your career where you're on national television. Not only do you drop him, but then all of a sudden it's like, hey, this guy is insane. There's something wrong with this guy. Like it was
exactly what I was trying to get over.
Yeah, honestly, it's jarring to see you in that promo because you're silly, and then all of a sudden you turn and it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. So yeah, awesome stuff, and yeah, it's like I said, linchpin moment in your career, critical. Now you and Steamboat pretty much go immediately on the road with matches in Hartford, Richfield, Ohio, Landover, Maryland, MSG, Los Angeles, Fresno, Sacramento, Denver. You guys are all over the map. Did you know right away that this was going to be a feud that lasted the whole summer?
Oh yeah, because every place we went was sold out. Sold out, man.
I've heard you mention once that you worked for 90 days straight, and I feel like this is that period. Yeah,
this is it.
I mean, how are you doing it?
Oh man, there was so much energy in that ring. You could have brought me to the ring in a wheelchair. With that energy, I'd have been able to get up and walk. Because the fans just brought it right up, man. My God. I'd stand in the ring and wait and let his music play, and he would come to the ring, man, and it was like, oh my God, here we go. The only thing that I can compare it with is busting a nut, It's sort of like,
and then after the match, it's the post-nut clarity where you're like, holy shit, I'm tired.
Oh my God, I'm dead. Help me. Give me a cigarette.
I want our listeners to think about this for a second, though. 90 straight days of going town to town. You got to travel to the towns. You're taking the bumps. You're staying out late, I have to imagine. So, my God, just unfathomable nowadays. Who are you riding with at this time, Jake?
I don't even remember.
I hope you were with somebody and not riding by yourself, because you'd lose your fucking mind.
I know my wife came on the road for about 2 weeks one time whenever it got towards the end when I literally couldn't talk.
Really?
I was just so beaten down and dumbed out that I would get to a hotel and I'd just throw them a credit card at them. I'd get to the ticket counter at the airport, and back then they would give you stacks of tickets, 2 or 3 inches thick, and you'd go on the road and use one each day.
Mm-hmm.
And I just set them up on the desk and say, there they are, find one that you like, Damn. Getting a rental car, I just throw the card up there.
I just can't wrap my head around it. It's incredible that you guys were doing what you're doing back then. We do get an unforgettable moment as well over the course of this run, Jake. It's June 1986. Steamboat decides that he's going to counter Damien with a creature of his own. It's going to be our final clip of the week.
Look at this. Here comes a devastating. Whoa, wow. DDT.
brother.
And nobody gets up after that one. And the 3 count.
That's for sure nobody's going to get up after that maneuver. I mean, that's the same devastation.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ricky Steamboat has that. Jake the Snake now. Oh, here comes Jake. Down to the camel. Roberts now. Ooh, whip to the buckle. Oh, down. Oh, Jake the Snake. We're going to find out what's in the bag. What's in there? Steamboat. What is that? He's trying to get something out of that bag.
What in the world is that? Oh, my God. Look at this. Oh, my.
Whoa, baby.
Oh, brother. Looks like a giant lizard. Is that what it is?
Look at that thing. And Jake the Snake is really taking off.
Oh, my. Look at that.
That's a monitor, and that thing will eat snakes.
That's right. Holy smoke.
Snakes.
Yep.
Komodo dragon or monitor or whatever that thing was.
Monitor lizard, man.
What did you think of all this?
Flesh eaters.
They're flesh eaters.
Yes. They eat meat. They'll take a bite out of you, brother, that you won't forget. They say that their saliva is one of the most dangerous toxins on the planet.
Why wasn't his mouth like banded or something? It was just he was just out there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It got your attention.
Dude.
And that thing had some nasty ass claws too. Oh my God.
How did Ricky feel about having this big nasty lizard with him?
He dealt with it. You have to ask him. I don't know.
My God. I mean, you guys have got animals backstage now. I mean, like, what is it like being around the boys and having like some creatures
shit like that? Well, they put up with it, man, because we were filling up the houses. That's for sure.
Well, Jake, we're almost at the finish line. The feud continues all summer, including the big event from CNE Stadium in Toronto. I believe that there was more than 70,000 people there.
It sure was.
Which is insane. And the feud culminates where it all began. This time, Saturday night's main event is in Richfield Coliseum, where Ricky pins you in a snake pit match and brings out the Komodo dragon creature again. Did you ever fathom when you were given the name the Snake that it would lead to something like a snake versus dragon?
No.
With actual reptiles?
Are you serious? Not even in my worst nightmare.
I mean, like coming from the territories and whatnot and the old school upbringing that you had, then all of a sudden it's like a circus atmosphere. You got
it was, man. But you know what? When you got 70,000 people in front of you, you don't feel too bad.
I would say that you could probably get past it with that crowd reaction.
Yeah, you sure can, man. Sure can.
A couple fan questions, then we'll get out of here. We've got RCS88 who asks, how long did it take for Ricky to regain consciousness after that? I know you were on to the next town, but what did you hear about it?
I don't remember. I'd just be guessing if I said anything.
No, I appreciate the honesty. How would you even know that? Because you're getting in a car and leaving. So it's like, I would have to imagine you regain consciousness probably on the way to the hospital. But man, it's terrifying. Next up, Instagram wrestling historian asks, was anybody scared of taking the DDT? Following this, was anybody weird about it?
No. Not as long as it was in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, you had established a track record by this point of not killing somebody every time you dropped him with one. It was just these rare occasions, you know?
Yeah.
Yambag Jones, final question. Did you have heat with anybody backstage after this, or did everybody know that you warned Ricky against it?
No, I didn't have any heat with anybody. Not that I know of.
Well, that's good. You know, I know that, back in the day, it used to be if you hurt somebody out in the ring or whatever, some of the guys would be weird with you afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work with this guy.
Absolutely. No, everybody was right there for me, man. I can't say anything.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. And Jake, I'm glad that we got to revisit this. It's really fun to look back at some of these iconic memories with you. And there's still so much left to tell here on the Snake Pit. Next week, we're letting our listeners dictate the stories because we're running it back with another fan favorite. It's Ask Jake Anything again. So get your questions in on Twitter at Snake Pit Pod and interact with the Hall of Famer Jake the Snake himself. Also, you can team up with the one and only Jake the Snake Roberts when you go to advertisewithsnake.com. If you want to capture that 25 to 54 male demographic, this is the place to do it. Jake will put over your product or service to the exact audience you're targeting. And if you need evidence that it works, just listen to our show. We are constantly doing the same advertisers, and that's because they renew with us because what we do works. Head to advertisewithsnake.com and team up with the Hall of Famer. Go out of your way to get a Cameo from Jake at cameo.com/Jake Snake. Here's a recent review from Reed on Cameo. Jake, you should raise your price. Your mic skills are still perfection, and you really get it regarding what we want from Cameo. You've risen to the top among your elite group of peers once again. Thank you sincerely. So that's from Reed, who you did one for, Jake. And man, he's not an exception. Everybody who leaves a review says something very similar to that. And there's a reason. It's because you put a lot of effort into these, right, Jake?
Yeah, I do. I enjoy doing them, man. Are you kidding? I enjoy doing them for the fan, no matter if I'm being sent to give somebody birthday wishes or anniversary wishes or whatever, or breaking up with their girlfriend or quitting their job. I've had one where I quit the guy's job for him. That was probably one of my favorites.
Just amazing. Is that like telling, like, hey, bud, stuff this job up your
head?
Hey,
dude, this job you got, it sucks. You know why it sucks? Because you suck. Yeah, it was fucking fun.
Dude, just incredible, and incredible reviews over there. You don't have to believe me, guys. Go check it out. It's cameo.com/Jake Snake. We've got awesome vintage style merch available at boxofgimmicks.com, and we're constantly adding new stuff. So please go out of your way to check that out. Again, it's tailor-made for fans of the 80s and 90s. So just go look. You don't stand to lose anything by looking, and I would be willing to bet that you're going to find something you like over there. Check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod for short clips from our show highlights and some exclusive content. We are doing giveaways. We got another one coming up here. And all you've got to do is subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and bam, you're eligible. You'll get something signed by Jake sent to your house, and you've got an awesome free collectible added to your collection. Also, if you've enjoyed our podcast, please like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review on all platforms. And just a reminder, you can get the Snake Pit and all the other shows in our network early and ad-free at adfreeshows.com, starting at just $9. That's less than 15 cents an episode each month. And Jake and I are always doing bonus stuff. So last month we did the Wrestling Summit from April 1990. As this drops, it's going to be May, and we've got another one coming. So keep your eyes peeled over there. Head to adfreeshows.com and become a member. You're not going to regret it. Catch Jake on Twitter at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at JakeTheSnakeDDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. You can follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on Twitter. You can follow the podcast on all platforms at Snake Pit Pod. Jake, what a fantastic episode. Thank you so much for talking about Ricky Steamboat with me today.
No problem, brother. Really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, and we're going to enjoy it when we see you guys next week right here on the Snake Pit.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Tax season is here, which means you've received or are expecting that tax refund any day now, and you're thinking about what to spend it on. How about a new home? With SaveWithConrad.com, we're helping renters become homeowners every single day, and it's more affordable than you think. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need a huge down payment. In fact, you may not need a down payment at all. At SaveWithConrad.com, we take the stress out of the home buying process. We'll determine your buying power. We'll even help you find a realtor. And unlike the banks, we don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. So if you're not ready right now, we'll get you on a plan to be ready. Stop throwing your money away, paying someone else's mortgage with your rent, and start the path towards owning your own home today at SaveWithConrad.com.